Welcome down the warp pipe. In case you're new, I'm Ty, and if not, great to see you again. As far as I'm concerned, games now are just... I feel like I'm falling out of love with the modern game. And it's not an easy thing to talk about, but it's something that I have to. I have to get it off my chest. Modern games are so obsessed, specifically the multiplayer ones. So I'm talking... For me, Fall Guys. Take your pick of any multiplayer game that wants to eat up all your time. Most recent thing was Fall Guys having the challenges, more specifically, for Ratchet and Clank, and just trying to get those last little bits to get the outfit. Today, I want to explain to you why I went and bought a Dreamcast, a bunch of games for it, and I'm kind of done with modern games. Unless they're single player, I just really don't really care. And even then, there's a lot of bloat. So for me, there's a couple different factors that go into my current mental state and opinion on more modern games. The first, and to tee it all up, is the fact that Ratchet Clank Rift Apart came out, and I was excited for it. I'm in no way knocking the game, it's phenomenal, and I would highly recommend it on a steep sale. The re-release one on PS4, I played myself and beat and platinumed. I did it in about 46 hours, 45 hours, in that range. So I was expecting something similar in terms of a gameplay or time sync to Ratchet Clank Rift Apart. Okay, it's a full price $70 US or 90 Canadian dollar game, and you know what, I'm comfortable paying that. I love the Insomniac games. The last Spider-Man games, Miles Morales, and the original Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 blew my socks off and had a phenomenal time with it. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart fits that kind of mold. However, it fits that mold too well at a $70 priced game. It is a game that took me 10 hours to platinum. Yeah, I didn't play through it on challenge mode, and I could still do that and get all the weapons, but without any trophies there to incentivize me to do that now, with having a backlog, there's more games that I could be spending time with that are more pertinent, not because of trophy hunting, but because they're just a new experience and I'm not playing through the same game again. Then we have Fall Guys. As I mentioned in the intro, the challenges just tore me apart. Not because they were really hard, but because there was too much randomness, or RNG if you will, and be able to properly progress. The kicker here was trying to get Clank. So I got the Ratchet, didn't get the dance that you get, the emote you get, but I at least, thought, cool, I got the outfit. It was a pain, it was really hard to get the survival modes, had to play a lot more than I wanted to, but at least we got it. Jump into now with the new modes that seem to push more randomness as a factor and more bumbling and bouncing into people, which I am not a fan of. It pushes the games to, okay, now you need to win a squad trio, or you have to go and win a team game. Okay, that's fine. I can win a team game. However, that's if the game would give me a team game. I went into main show, I went into squad trios, and for the life of me, couldn't get a team game. And then the unthinkable happened. My buddy Justin, when both Jace was out for the night and I was out seeing some friends of my wife's, and, well, they're my friends too, but we were hanging out at their place and just catching up. Justin went and won both the squad trio, which got him the dance, but also the team game, which were part of the squad trio, which we hadn't been able to get to because we were both, Jace and I, who had played about 10 hours more than Justin, significantly worn down on Fall Guys and its randomness factor from both getting Ratchet, which Justin did not completely get, and getting just the life drained out of us in Fall Guys. The game is obsessed with us just playing it constantly. And I get that. Some people want one game to play all the time, and they want it to take up more of their time. I really enjoyed Fall Guys when I played it before, and I completed every season up to this point, other than the second season, because I was so burnt out from the first. And that's the same thing that's happening again now. I'm burnt out. So that brings me to just my complete displeasure with more modern games. And it even goes into single player games that have a lot of bloat in them. It's great that they have a lot of content there, but when a lot of that content is samey or even just boring, you can kind of get bogged down in it, and it can prevent you from completing the game. This isn't a knock at any specific open world game, and Believe me, I'm spending far more time than I need to in Breath of the Wild. I'm currently sitting at around somewhere between 80 and 90 hours for the game, which I know other people have pumped a lot more time into. However, as someone that plays a lot of games and likes to dip their toes into a lot of games, if any game gets over 30 hours for me, that's impressive. And that's kind of the sweet spot for me. That 30 to 40 hour mark, something like God of War, is a great example of this, where it was just quality. Everything was killer and no filler. More modern games, it seems that they're more filler and less killer. You can totally choose to ignore them and go through the main story. I did that with Horizon Zero Dawn myself. The problem there is that you know you're missing out on stuff. Even if it's not quality, you probably want to do some of those side quests, because some of them probably are quality. Maybe you don't have to do little fetchy things here and there, but you want the best armor in the game, so you're gonna go and do some monotonous stuff. I know currently I've forced myself to do that in Breath of the Wild, and I get it. I get that I'm forcing myself to do that. It's not something the game is forcing me to do. I could go and complete it really quick, but I want all the heart containers, and I want all of the best armor, and I want the Master Sword. So that brings me to more retro or old school games, or in this case of me buying the Dreamcast, arcade games. They're just fun. You can pop them on for 10 or 15 minutes or 10 or 15 hours, and they're just as fun. And that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I love Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 for this. It's a game that you can just jump in and play around with, but that's why I went and bought some games and bought a Dreamcast. I just want to play more games with more respect for my time. And it's not that more modern games don't respect your time necessarily. It's just that they're obsessed with having a ton of content, which isn't a bad thing. I want quality content though, not just content. Because ultimately, for me at least, and I'm sure for you, and definitely let me know down in the comments below, it's not whether you want to play the game or it's worth the money. It's whether that experience of playing the game is worth your time. That's why for me, Donkey Kong Country is my favorite game of all time. However, let me know down below, like I said, is there any games or any things in games that is bothering you and you wish they would kind of revert back to what they used to be? For me, I'm going to jump and play some Code Veronica, some Crazy Taxi, and when I get it, Power Stone. But as always, I'll see you on Saturday for a short, and next Tuesday for Games Tuesday.